All right, Sistas fans, so we know that at the ending of the penultimate episode last week, Andi walked in on Gary in her bed with another woman on top of him and another woman on the side watching. And the question is this the last straw? Is this the final thing that needed to happen in order for Andi to open her eyes that something isn't right with Gary? Do you think Andi is going to kick his ass to the curb? Now, we know in the preview, her and Robin seem to have a tender moment in the office, but I'm not talking about that specifically. I want to see whether or not Andi's finally going to open her eyes and get rid of Gary once and for all. But let's be honest here, even if, let's say, they break up, just like Jacoby, just like Jasmine, just like Zach in season 1, he's going to continuously pop up. I mean, there have been plenty of times where Andi said, I'm done with you, leave me alone, but Gary doesn't care. Gary going to do what Gary going to do. And I think Aaron made a good point earlier this season when he said, do you not want to be alone or you can't be alone? There's a difference there. And trust and believe, I got a video about Aaron coming up soon on that very topic. Even though it was a very good line. Probably one of my favorite in the series so far. I feel like a lot of fans are in the same boat when they say, if Andi doesn't do something now, I don't know what to say. Even though I've been speechless on Andi and her decision making for quite a while now. But, I mean, we know Gary will probably try to do something in order to flip the narrative and make Andi seem like she was the one in the wrong. She did something wrong. It's like, yeah, I seen you with that guy and that made me pent up in the stress and that's why I need this therapy and whatnot. So it's like, it was bad enough when it was over the phone because I guessed it based off the woman's voice sounding, modified or coming from a device. But to actually have sex therapy, I think that's a Robin Thicke song, in real time, it's just one of those things where it's like, I really want to see how this is explained. Honestly, we're going to see Andi blow up in the trailer, but what good is that scene going to do if it doesn't really lead to something drastic? Like her giving the ring back, telling Gary to get the hell out. Just, I want to know not only how Andi reacts to this, but what is she going to do in the long run? And I mean, I didn't bother looking it up. Honestly, I should have taken a moment to Google it to see if, this kind of therapy is legit, like a real thing. I really am interested to see because we know that Fatima asked Andi, hey, give me the name of this therapist. I can do my thing, research it, and see if this is legitimate, therapy. Now, it will be interesting, and this is what I hope doesn't happen. Andi overreacts. Well, honestly, I feel like she's acting quite normal for somebody who walks home from work and sees her fiance in bed with another woman. Kicks him out. And then Fatima contacts her, is like, hey, look, Andi girl, I know this sounds weird, but this kind of therapy is legit. So then after her and Robin have a good night together working or something like that, she decides to, Gary, I'm sorry, yada, 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 and then take him back. Hopefully that's not what happens, but given Andi's character so far, I feel like that's possibly what's going to happen. And it's sad because I could see things potentially working well with Robin, but then she'll decide to throw that away in order to go back with Gary. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think this is it? Do you think Andi's finally going to get rid of Gary? Or do you think she's going to be manipulated, but then still have that moment with Robin later? It just doesn't make sense to me. But let me know your thoughts and we'll talk about it. But thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll chat with you in the next video.